Well, hello and welcome. I'm Misheard with Misheard Songlyrics podcast. We're in season 7, episode 359. The misheard song lyric is, put on a porn show, played for mosquitoes. And then the correct lyrics is, put on a poncho, played for mosquitoes. Guessed it? First ever Sheryl Crow misheard song lyric. Yeah, that porn show and poncho sounds pretty close. Well, we're talking about If It Makes You Happy. It's a song by American singer-songwriter Sheryl Crow, and it was released as the lead single from her 1996 album in August of 1996. So we are now July of 2026. So what is that, like 36 years ago? Oh my God, I can't be, but, or 30 years ago? Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. So crazy. And here we are, 2026. The song peaked at number 10 on the US Billboard Hot 100, and it became Crow's final top 10 solo hit in the United States, and at number 9 on the UK singles chart. It also reached number 1 in Canada and won Best Female Rock Vocal Performance at the 1997 Grammy Awards. So let's talk about Sheryl Crow first, and all about the song, and then the music video, because it's very iconic. So Sheryl Suzanne Crow was born on February 11, 1962. She's an American singer, songwriter, producer, actress, and guitarist. She's noted for her optimistic lyrics, idealistic lyrics, and incorporation of various genres into her rock-oriented sound, including blues, country, folk, and pop. It's quite a mixture. She has released 12 studio albums, 5 compilations, 3 live albums, and contributed to several film soundtracks. Most popular songs include, in 1994, All I Want to Do, 1994's Strong Enough, 1996, If It Makes You Happy, the song we're talking about today, 1996, Every Day is a Winding Road, 1997, Tomorrow Never Dies, Bond theme song, 1998's My Favorite Mistake, 2002, Picture, duet with Kid Rock, which I hear many times in the karaoke place and not the greatest, Soak Up the Sun in 2002. And all in all, she sold over 50 million albums worldwide, amazing, and has won a total of 9 Grammy Awards for 32 nominations. And in 2023, I didn't realize this, she was inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In addition to her music career, she also had some television series and film appearances, including 30 Rock, Cop Rock, CGB, Cougar Town, One Tree Hill, and NCIS New Orleans. Let's talk about her personal life. So let's dig in. She was in a lot of high-profile relationships. Some I knew, some I didn't. So in the late 1990s, she dated Eric Clapton. I did not know that. And then actor Owen Wilson. And apparently the song Safe and Sound on the album Come On, Come On was dedicated to Wilson. And according to the album's liner notes, so if you have it, look for it, says it was an account of the relationship. So intrigued. Then she began dating Lance Armstrong. That's the one I knew about in 2003, so what, 23 years ago. And then the couple announced their engagement in September 2005, so 2 years later, but jointly announced their split officially on February 3rd, 2006, so a year later roughly. According to Crow, she had been engaged 2 other times but never married. Then in May of 2007, she announced on her website that she has adopted a boy who was born the month before. And then in June 2010, Sheryl Crow announced that she had adopted another boy born the previous April. She and her sons live in West Nashville, Tennessee, and she also owns a home in Destin, Florida. She owned a loft apartment, they said, in the NoHo neighborhood of Lower Manhattan from 1998 to 2017. And then Crow and her son Levi are actual die-hard Milwaukee Bucks fans, and so much so they went to several of the post-game games in 2021 and en route to Milwaukee's 2021 NBA Finals victory. So big sports fans of that franchise with their son. So let's go back to the song. So today we're traveling back to the glorious mid-1990s. I remember it well. It was an era of flannel, CD towers, and one specific gravelly voice singing a lyric that absolutely everyone had screamed at the top of their lungs in the car. And today we're talking about Sheryl Crow's, like I said, 1996 smash hit, If It Makes You Happy. On the surface, it sounds like a breezy, feel-good, slightly cynical pop rock anthem. But underneath, that's where it lives. It's actually born out of pure frustration industry pressure, and some serious betrayal. In the ultimate FU track wrapped in a radio-friendly bow, very, very smart on her part. So today we're looking at the dramatic backstory of the song, how the critics absolutely flipped for it, and how it conquered the global charts. And did you know, to understand the song, we had to go back to Sheryl's 1993 debut album, Tuesday Night Music Club. It was a massive Grammy-winning success, but the name wasn't just a clever title. She literally wrote and recorded with a collective guys who met up on Tuesday nights, okay? So right, but when the album blew up and became a surprise multi-platinum hit, things turned ugly. Some of those guys went to the media and completely disparaged Sheryl Crow. They claimed they deserved the lion's share of the credit and the royalties, basically painting her as just a front woman rather than a driving force. Yikes. Talking about toxic, meanwhile, her record label and the media are breathing down her neck, screaming, "Give us a follow-up album. Do it again. You know, you're only as good as your last success," right? Decades later, in 2023, Sheryl told People magazine exactly what was going through her head. She said, quote unquote, "It was a message to everybody that had a part of this first record. While everybody's making a ton of money off this record, I'm the one that's having to defend myself." That was basically the impetus for the song. And according to songfacts.com, the song is essentially a portrait of someone who is deeply depressed or upset no matter what amazing things are happening around them. It was her looking at the music industry, looking at her former friends, and realizing success didn't bring happiness. It just brought vultures. Yikes. So what she does best, channels all that rage into her self-titled album, and she steps up as sole producer, grabs a guitar and drops "If It Makes You Happy" as the lead single. And man, the critics did not just like it, they're obsessed with the new, grittier Sheryl Crow. Oh, the reviews also from 96 are spectacular. Let's start with Stephen Thomas Erlewine over at AllMusic. He described her vibe as the track as weary and, get this, sexily exhausted. I think that's just also being called a millennial or millennia. But he wasn't alone. On Billboard magazine's Larry Flick loved the reinvention. He called it a straight ahead rocker that's far more bite than anything on her Grammy lavish debut, okay? Flick actually credited her relentless touring for making the song work. He wrote that the endless miles on the lyric gave her voice a sharp brass. You can hear that raspiness, which perfectly served the song's iconic lyrics and held up strong against the track's crunchy guitars. He loved the edgy nature and that subtle but unmistakable hook. And over at the UK, Music Week gave it a perfect 5 out of 5 stars and named it Single of the Week, saying it captured the raunchy rock and roll feel of her live sets. They did note that some fans might miss the fragility of her debut, but promised this track would shift bucket loads. And over at Cashbox, reviewer by the name of Dana Darzan had a hilarious take. She called it a universally appealing anthem and warned retailers, quote unquote, "Fans who usually shop Walmart will be looking for a new record store with this one, so retailers should stock lots and lots." Wow, what a burn to Walmart, and a massive compliment to the song's indie rock credibility. Even Rolling Stone's David Frick chimed in saying that the song was, quote unquote, as good as it gets, juicing the feel of her first album with a little Friday Night Live. It's just crazy how that critical acclaim has aged too. And in 2017, Billboard ranked it the 10th greatest Sheryl Crow song ever. And just a few years ago, in 2023, The Guardian ranked it all the way up to number 4. So the critics loved it, but it actually did it actually shift bucket loads like Music Week predicted. It was a slow burn. I remember it. I didn't catch on to it. Juggernaut in the charts. In the U.S., it debuted at the Billboard Hot 100 at 44 in September of 1996. It cracked the top 20 a month later and basically lived there for 3 months. It didn't hit its peak at number 10 until January of 1997. Now talk about staying power. It spent 27 weeks on the chart in total. But if America loved it, Canada was utterly obsessed. It debuted at number 78 on the RPM 100 hit tracks chart, and then 10 weeks later, it went straight to number 1. It also conquered Canada's adult contemporary and alternative listings. And across the pond, Europe welcomed the new rock-oriented Sheryl with open arms. It debuted and peaked at the number 9 spot on the UK singles chart, and making it her second top 10 hit there. Now let's fast forward to 2021, and the BPI, or British Phonographic Industry, certified it silver for over 200,000 sales and streams. And it hit 20 in Sweden and Iceland, and top 30 in France and made major waves in Australia and New Zealand. The Kiwis loved it. Sheryl proved she didn't need the Tuesday Night Boys to conquer the globe. There you go. It's just incredible how a song born out of feeling defensive, isolated, and pressure became this track that solidified her standalone rock icon. That's a nice, like, right? What you know, right? Next time you hear that crunchy guitar riff start up, just remember, she's just not singing a catchy tune. She's reclaiming her narrative. Have you seen the music video? So if you go to youtube.com, there's about 81.4 million views as of December 13th, 2009 till today, where I'm taping this July of 2026, and it's still going. Because if you grew up during MTV or VH1 in the mid-90s, you'll probably remember the song's iconic imagery. But well, you might know that there's actually not one, but two music videos for this track. And they're two totally different entirely versions. So if you look them up, both were directed by the same director by the name of Keir McFarlane. And they couldn't be more opposite if they tried. It's like a masterclass on how different visuals can completely reframe the mood of the exact same song. So let's start with version number 1, which was shot entirely in a moody, cinematic black and white. This one leans heavily into the isolated, slightly depressed lyrical themes we talked about last time. It starts with Sheryl inside a stark apartment, putting on a heavy black raincoat, right? And then the rest of the video is basically just following around through the day of ultimate urban loneliness. She walks down a busy city street, rides the subway, wanders onto a boardwalk, and buys a coffee at a mall. Eventually, she returns right back to that empty apartment. It's very indie, very minimalist, and perfectly captures the weary, exhausted vibe of that video, and critics love that so much. It actually makes the song feel a little private, like an internal diary entry. But apparently they wanted something with a bit more, let's say, teeth. And the version 2 is the one that I saw with the 81 million views from December 13, 2009. Enter version 2 of the video. If you had the first video in a rainy Tuesday afternoon, the second video is a wild Friday night. This is the version most people remember, and the one you can find on YouTube. And the first thing you notice when you turn into it is the color palette. Oh, it's stunning. The video is bursting with these incredible, rich, saturated jewel tones. There's a brick wall behind the pop with this deep, fiery red, and it perfectly matches the vibrant red lipstick Sheryl Crow is wearing. It's a look. And the setting is even wilder because it's shot in color inside the endangered species section of the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County. And think about the irony of that, surrounded by glass cases of taxidermized endangered animals. And what is she wearing? She is rocking a spectacular leopard print fur coat and knee-high black Yves Saint Laurent leather boots. She looks like a total rock star standing amidst the relics of the wild. It completely flips the song from a melancholy sigh into a fierce, stylish protest. It's just crazy how a director can take an exact audio track, put in black and white subway, or a colorful museum full of stuffed lions and create two completely different masterpieces. Honestly, go to both versions of YouTube right now. The contrast between that rain, slick city street version and the red brick YSL boot version is wild. So now you know about If It Makes You Happy, why she wrote it, what caused her to have that distinct rasp, which is perfect in the song. And you also know that the misheard song lyric, even though it's pretty close, she didn't put on a poncho, she put on a poncho. If you have any great suggestions like this misheard song lyric, please send it to any of our sites like Instagram, YouTube, or better yet, email at misheard, MISSHEARD songs @gmail.com. Till then, keep singing those songs wrong. Bye.